I realize the title might look a little bit mean. Let me explain that. Hi, I'm Connor, depressed person, and you're probably like, but Connor, you seem upbeat and happy in your videos. Well, friend, depression is not an emotion. A troubling thing that I see from time to time and has thrust itself into relevance on YouTube recently is people using depression as an excuse for behavior. And I am not a fan of it. I say that I'm not a fan of it, but I used to do it all the time. It was something I put into practice pretty much every day when I was at my worst. I've hinted at it a few times, but I have dabbled in the trade of narcissism and being a manipulative human being. From time to time, it's something that I did a lot, and it's something that I was really successful at, unfortunately, because I've always been a persuasive person, but you can take that to an extreme and cross the line between persuasion and manipulation. And that's no bueno. Here's the thing, depression might be able to explain someone's reaction to a situation, but depression does not excuse bad behavior and hurting people. It doesn't do that. And it might sound extremely harsh because it is a debilitating condition at times. It is something that eats every single shred of you and turns you into something that you're not. I get that. I have been there. But at the end of the day, you are still responsible for the things that you do, especially if you do them to other people and cause them harm. That does not go away, regardless of where your head was. I don't want to sound too self-involved here, but I think the best way to continue is to talk about this from my perspective, given that this is something that I have experienced. I went through a phase in my life where I was very much not okay. I was busting out of my shell and doing things that were very contrary to my personality and who I am as a person. In a lot of ways, I was a very sick individual, and this sickness caused me to neglect other people in my life, put everything about myself first above all else, and it caused me to manipulate some people, which obviously is a bad thing. That's not a good thing. It's something that I'm really not proud of in my history, but it is part of my context and it will always be part of my context, so I'm open and honest about it. Here's where the problem starts. I was caught several times in bad situations. I'm not going to go into specifics because that's not necessary, but essentially I was called out for my behavior several times. And here's what happened. I played victim so hard, so incredibly hard. I played the victim. I broke down. I cried. I promised that I was gonna get better. I begged for forgiveness from the people that I hurt. I did all of these things. And the scary part was that I believed it. But there was a voice that was in the back of my head that knew that that all of this was a ruse, that I was gonna continue with the behavior that got me to this place in the first place, and that I was just playing this part in order to get myself through the easiest way I possibly can. And yeah. It's unfortunate. I've often said this, but the best manipulators, the people who are most successful at their manipulation, not only manipulate other people, but they manipulate themselves. And that is something that is really hard for that person to see while they're doing it. There's a certain sense of looking at the things that you've done and being in complete disbelief that you're even capable of doing those things. It's like, that's not me. That can't be me. That's not me at all. It's gotta be something else. It's gotta be something. So you blame everything but yourself. The only problem with that is that it doesn't confront the issue. Because when you do things wrong, when you mess up, as all of us do, when you hurt people, the best way to get past it is to confront it head on. Problems don't get solved when you just pass the blame around to different things and avoid it coming back to you. Because when you mess up, when you hurt other people, you're not the victim. You're not. Because inevitably, what happens when you treat yourself like a victim in a situation, you're gonna feel sorry for yourself. And when you feel sorry for yourself, you get sad. It triggers depression, and it gets really easy to say, oh my gosh, I am so depressed. I am so depressed, and everyone should feel sorry for me. I'm sorry, no one should feel sorry for you. Keep in mind that when you hurt people, when you do something wrong, the natural response is to feel awful about it. That's human empathy. That's something that is a good thing. When you hurt someone and you feel extremely bad about what you've done, good. You should feel like that because that's where you build from. That's where you start from the actual issue. And that is not a time for you to use your depression as a means for people to feel sorry for you. It's not. And never really should be. Depression is not a crutch. Depression is not something that you automatically use to explain your actions or inactions or whatever. It's a thing. It's part of you, and it's something that we're all dealing with, those of us who have it. And to be honest, this isn't just for times you've hurt other people in general. The moment you start blaming depression for why your life is bad or why your life isn't great, you're giving it power. And for sure, if you give it that power, it's gonna win. And it's gonna become a self-fulfilling prophecy. 100% for sure. Do I stop and think every once in a while, gosh, I wish I wasn't depressed, or gosh, I wish I wasn't an addict? Of course I do. I'm always going to, but that doesn't change the fact that I am depressed and that I am an addict, and I'm always gonna be that for the rest of my life. It's always gonna be there. Once the hand is dealt, you can't say, oop, givesies, backsies, I don't want these cards, it's not a good hand. No, those are the cards that you have. You gotta play with them, and you gotta make that situation as best as it can possibly be. And it's totally 100% always possible to do that. No one has ever lived your life before. In fact, no one's ever gonna live your life again. So why not make it the best life it can possibly be? There's stuff that's gonna be out there that you can't control or change. There's stuff that you've done in your life that you can't change because it's the past. But what you can do is focus on what's here in front of you, what you can control, what you can impact, and make that the best it can possibly be. So whether you've made a mistake that just is a minor inconvenience in your life, or you've made a massive one that causes you to have to completely start over with everything in your life, it doesn't matter. You can always control you and what you do moving forward. And tiptoeing around the issue, avoiding the pain, avoiding confronting the issue at hand, that's not gonna help you. All that's gonna do is make everything worse, right? You gotta confront stuff head on. That's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Yeah, if you want to continue the conversation, of course, hit up the comments section. That would be great. That'd be awesome. I would like to get talking about this. I didn't want to go into specifics about it, but this does relate to some people and how they have reacted to being accused of abuse of their power in the realm of sexual manipulation and coercion, things like that. It is related to that in the YouTube community. It's what sparked this, but I didn't want to go into specifics with that. But yeah, as always, I'm Connor Manning. You've just become a little more awesome, and I will see you guys on Friday. I think this shirt is appropriate. I love it so much. It's a Hannah Hart shirt, and I just saw the design. I loved every bit of it. It says, practice reckless optimism. And that is, well, that's me. I do that all the time.